they must avoid in 2026. So I want to ask you, how many of you, especially women, you know that you work very, very hard, but you have nothing to show for it? You know that you earn a salary at the end of the month, but before the middle of the other month, you realize that there is nothing to show for the money you have earned. It could be the money that you get from your business. It could be from salary, money that people give you. But at the end of it all, you have nothing to show for it. One thing that I have realized, especially from my experience, both in the courtroom and when I talk to people, is that many people don't have money problem. The problem they have is what they do with the money, and that is what I want to address today. And so I want us to look at 5 money mistakes that women make, the mistakes that they make and affects their finances so badly that they either have nothing to show for it, or they what they have to show for it is not something that is worthwhile, it's not something that is meaningful, it's not something that can keep generating money for them in the event that they stop working. And the mistakes are much more than 5 that I want to talk about today. But for today's live stream, I just want to refer to 5 money mistakes. These mistakes, some of them are particular, they're peculiar to women, and we'll be looking at it as we go along. So I want to ask you this morning, can you say that you are fine with your finances? Even as a certified financial planner, I also make, these mistakes once in a while, but I just tell myself that, no, Dupe, you cannot continue to do this, you cannot continue to do that. And I easily, just catch myself. So some of us, as you'll be watching me, some of you, as you join me this morning on this live stream, you know that you actually make these mistakes. And as we talk about it today, I know that some of us will leave these mistakes. Some of us, as we make these mistakes, we remember today's stream, and then we're able to help ourselves. So today we're looking at 5 money mistakes that we must avoid in 2026. It's not just enough for us to make money. We must understand how to manage this money that we make. And also, we must be able to grow. We must be able to multiply this money that we make as well. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. My name is Modupe. I am a legal practitioner. In fact, I am a legal practitioner and also a certified financial planner. And what I do is that I help people with their finances. I help them to grow their finances. I help them to grow their wealth, to protect their legacy, and also to help them to make godly financial decisions. So once again, I want to welcome you to Money Matters, where your money matters. So as you join me this morning, please tell me your name and let me know where you're watching me from. Hello, thank you for joining me. What's up? Yes, we're talking about money mistakes that we need to avoid in 2026. Please, if this is the first time of joining me, I want to invite you to please join my community, Money Matters, where we talk about money. Like I have said, please subscribe, please like, and also share. And in today's talk, we will be looking at 5 money mistakes that we must avoid, especially for women. I have said that we have much more than 5, but for today's live stream, we're only going to be looking at 5 points. Let me know which money mistakes that you have been making. I know the ones I have been making and the ones that I have been making myself to stop. So we're going to be honest today. Hello, thank you. Thank you, Reed. Let me know. Yes, thank you so much for joining me. Let me know where you're watching from as well. I'm here, Lagos, Nigeria. So the very first money mistakes that I see a lot of people make, either in the courtroom or as I speak to people, counsel them, is that a lot of people spend money without direction. They don't have a plan. As the money comes in, the money goes out. Most people don't have plans for their money. Oh, hi, you're from India. Thank you. How's India today? How are you feeling? Thank you so much. So I see that a lot of people make these mistakes. A lot of people, make this mistake by not having a plan for their money. One thing is that when money comes in, what do? Do you just spend as it comes in? Do you just spend as the need arise? Or do you already have a plan? Do you already have a direction for your money before you start spending? I always encourage people, I always tell people, especially women, have a plan, have a direction for your money. There's so many things that we spend money on. Different expenses come up, and most times our salary, our income remains the same for a very long time, and our expenses for most times keeps increasing. You have a lot of people have just one source that brings in money for them, but they have a lot of channels that takes money away from them. So before you commit to start spending when you get your next income, I'm saying to you, please have a plan, have a direction, have a budget, have a structure to that income, to that money that comes to you. Oh, I am very well, thank you. How are you as well? Have what I call a priority list. Have a list, you want to pay transportation, you want to pay so many things you want to use your money for. Please have a plan for it. Have a budget. A budget is simply your spending plan. What you do, you would like your money to do, because don't forget, like I said, you have so many things that you spend money on. And sometimes that is why a lot of people will tell you, oh, I don't know where my money went. I'm sure you have heard that statement. Oh, I don't know what I did to my money. Oh, I thought I had this amount of money. Oh, by this time, oh, I don't even know what I did. If you have a plan for your money, if you have a structure, if you have a direction for your plan, I can assure you that you will always know where your money went. And it's very important for us in 2026, if we want to get things right. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you want to get things right, if you want your finances to grow, not just for you to make money, but for you to grow your finances, for you to be able to have a hold over your finances, then it is important that you start putting things in place. It is important that you start having a budget, having a spend, a plan. That is very, very key. And I want to say that money that has no plan, it will disappear. And that is why we say, oh, I don't know where my money went. It's not that you didn't know where your money went. Your money went somewhere. It's just that you did not realize where that money went. So I want to encourage us today, please, if you don't already have a plan for your money, please start planning. Plan that out of that income that comes to you, you're going to use part of it to pay bills, fine. But at the same time, put something aside because of your future. So it's important that you have a plan. So I'm going to ask you today, are you going to have a plan? If you're going to have a plan, just put in the chat, yes, I'll start having a plan. And if you already have a plan, let me know, yes, I already have a plan. And one thing you should know is that your plan doesn't have to be the same every month. There will be times where you need to pay maybe for your children's school fees, when you have to pay subscription or some things. It doesn't have to be the same thing every month. So have a plan that is flexible, have a plan that works for you, not a plan that somebody else has. So the number 2 money mistake that I have seen people make, especially women, is relying only on one source of income. Please, if you have only one source of income, I want to plead with you. Start thinking of another source of income. Having just one source of income is very close to not having any source of income at all. See, anything can happen. Anything can happen, and the thing that can happen may be something that you may not even have control over. Take, for instance, a job loss. If what you have is just a job that brings in income to you, what happens if you are asked to leave that job? Or for some people, especially women, married women, they rely just solely on their husbands. What happens if your husband is no longer available? What happens if your husband is no longer there, to help you, to be that source of income? So I want to plead with you today as you listen to me. If you have just one source of income, please start thinking, what other things can I do? What other things can I engage in that will bring me, other revenues that will help me? It doesn't have to be a major thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. You don't have to start with a big thing. You can start small. The important thing is for you to start thinking. Start small. Start with whatever it is that you can start with, but please start with something. Normally, I tell people this, that a person who has just one source of income is just like a table that has just one leg. Have you ever seen a table that has just one leg? That is what it is. That is what I compare it to. That a person who has just one source of income is like a table that has one leg. So imagine if that one leg breaks, that one leg cracks, or something happens to that one leg. What would happen to the table? The table will crash. The table will fall. And anything on that table will what? It will spill. It will fall. So my appeal to you today is that if you have just one source of income, please start thinking. Ask yourself, what else can I do? What additional income can I bring to myself? You can, start with what you have. Thank God for the internet. You can go online, sell things. You can go online, teach things. You can go online, have a store, an online store. But please start thinking of something. Start thinking of adding additional income to what you have. See, anything can change suddenly at any time. Anything can change. Our prayer is that everything will continue to work for us, for good. But prayer alone without a plan, prayer alone without a strategy will not work. We need to combine both our faith with our strategy. We need to combine both our prayers with a plan. So depending on one source of income, one source of business, if you're a married woman, depending on your husband, is not a wise thing to, hold on to. You must start thinking, what else can I do? The third thing, and this is very, very, it relates mainly to women, and that is emotional financial decisions. Yes. Most times, okay, don't let me use the word most times, but I see that a lot of women, make financial decisions based on their emotions. Women were very emotional. Women were very sensitive. Women were caring. And when it comes to our financial decisions, most times we bring that aspect of us into our financial decisions. A lot of mothers do that. A lot of wives do that. You hear or you see people who come to you and tell you that, please, I have a need. Please, I need this thing. I need that. You may not have it, but you just feel this compassion. You just have this emotion. You just feel this emotion that, oh, let me give this person this thing. And it happens a lot. And doing this frequently, a lot of times, will harm your finances. Why? Because what you have planned, you realize that because of that emotional feeling, that emotional aspect, you tend to just, forget your plan, and then you move with your emotions. Emotions and finances don't work together. No, it doesn't work. And that is why, as women, I'm appealing to us, please let us remember that finances and emotions don't work together. This is a financial mistake that a lot of women, men too, make it, but it is more, it affects women more. Money we make these decisions without thinking. That is what I mean. Somebody comes to you and just begs you, oh, please. I see it a lot here, you know, in Lagos, in Nigeria. People would come to you and just say, please, I need this urgent 2K. I need this urgent money. And because maybe you just see that sister in need, you see that child in need and everything, you just forget everything and then you give. Doing that regularly will harm your finances. It's a financial mistake that we need, you know, to put under control. We need to put it under control. So money matters. Money does not do well. It doesn't answer well to emotions. It doesn't. If you feel pressured, just take time out and tell the person, please, let me get back to you, rather than just being under pressure and then doing it. Another emotional thing, and I'm going to use this example from what happens to us in Nigeria. It happens elsewhere as well, but we see that people, maybe somebody wants to do a party or somebody wants to do something, and then they, what we call ashwebi, because you want to be part of it. You don't have the money. That is part of the emotions. Just say, oh, I need to, you know, buy this. I need to do this. I need to, you know, feel like I belong. But this also may be affecting your finances. If you know that you don't have that resource, you don't have that money, that time, please, it's important that you just say, look, I don't have this. I cannot do this. And then, you know, you let it slide. There will be a time when you will be able to do that. So be careful, women, for a family emergencies. These are the things that come up. Medical, you know, we just need to be careful. Please, let us put our emotions under control. Number 4 money mistakes that we make, a lot of us make, is that we don't have an emergency savings or an emergency fund. We don't have. And the truth is that an emergency does not announce itself. Emergencies never announces. It never announces itself. It will not tell you, look, okay, I'm an emergency, I'm coming next week. It doesn't. So we need to be prepared for emergencies. Emergencies are things that just occur without us thinking. Things like job loss is an emergency. Things like medical bills, somebody just falls ill and you have to quickly rush that child to the hospital. It is an emergency. It is something that we're not praying that will happen, but it might happen. A repairs in the house, something that is an emergency. So emergencies happen, and emergencies don't announce their comings. So we need to know that it happens, whether we like it or not. Emergencies happen. It's just that we don't know when it will come, but emergencies do happen. Emergencies do come. So when you don't have a savings, when you don't have a fund, you know, to buffer when such things happen, it's going to lead to stress. It's going to lead to struggles. It's going to lead to pain. It's going to affect your finances, because you will now start thinking, oh, where do I quickly get this money? That is why you see a lot of people rushing to banks, running to the employers to quickly give them maybe a pay, and then they'll tell them that, look, I'll pay you back later. We need to start thinking of, you know, these things. How will I prepare for an emergency when it comes? It is not when it will come. It is not how or that, but we know that emergency will surely occur. So let us prepare, because it's a financial mistake that will affect our finances. The number 5 money mistakes that I want to talk about today, like I said, this video affects all of us, whether you're a man or you're a woman, but I want to kind of relate it more to women, the mistakes that we women must avoid. And these mistakes are universal. Having just one source of income, whether you are in America, you are in Canada, you are in the UK, you are in Ghana, you are in India, like my sister here, or you are in Nigeria, it is a dangerous thing. I talked about not having emergency financial, not having an emergency saving on an emergency fund. It is universal. Wherever you are, you know, it is important that you have an emergency fund. I talked about, you know, emotional spending. It is all over. Wherever you are as a woman, please Be careful as it comes to your finances. And the number 5 money mistakes that we're going to talk about today is ignoring financial knowledge. A lot of us, especially women, we know how to make money. The problem is, how do we manage this money, and how do we multiply this money that comes to us? And that is why financial knowledge is very important. Don't rely on anyone to make your financial decisions. You need to be knowledgeable. You need to understand how savings work. You need to understand your investment. You need to know, okay, where do I put my money so that my money will grow? You need to know all those kind of things. You need to differentiate between assets and liabilities. That is part of financial knowledge. So if you don't understand money, then you keep repeating the same circles. And the mistake that you make last year, if you continue to make it in 2026, then it's going to affect you in your future, except you begin to take a different steps. So I'm saying that please get financial knowledge, read books, watch videos, and that is why I want to appeal to you again. If you have not yet subscribed to Money Matters, please subscribe. Let us learn about money. Money for women, businesses, savings, investment, business ideas. These are the things that we talk about here on Money Matters with Modupe. So I want to say that it is not just important. I'm rounding up and I'm saying that it is not just about you making money. Yes, a lot of us will earn money, but the question is, what do you have to show for the money you have been working for? If you have worked for 1 year, if you have worked for 2 years or 3 years, the question is, what do you have to show for it? What assets do you have? Apart from the shoes that you have bought, the clothes you have bought, paying your expenses, paying your bills. Apart from that, what else do you have to show for the work you have been doing? That is why we're saying that we need to be careful. It's not just enough for us to make money. It is equally as important to know how to manage our money, and also it is more important to know how to multiply this money. Please, please, please let us stop making these money mistakes. Like I said, there are many more money mistakes that people make, especially women, and we need to avoid them. But for today, I'm talking about just these 5 money mistakes, and maybe in other episodes I'm going to talk about other money mistakes that we should avoid. Not having financial goal is a money mistake, right? Not having a savings, not having an investment is a money mistake. So once again, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. And if you're going to be watching a replay, let me know in the comments which of these money mistakes you have been guilty of, and what you also intend to do about this. So once again, thank you for joining me. I'm Modupe Vincent, and thank you for joining me. God bless you. Remember, be money wise, and I will see you at the top. Bye.